Papers were filled out and examinations of mother and child were performed. When Jeff and his parents showed up at the hospital, Jobi stepped aside. He gave them 3 days together. Jeff and Gracine named the baby Kaley. Not a Bellis name, but that wouldn't matter. On the 2nd day, Jobi embedded the chip into Kaley's left forearm. It left a tiny mark, and he hoped Jeff wouldn't notice. Gracine would see it and know what it was. The chip would allow Jobi to keep track of the child. It would let him know when she was ready for what she was meant to do. That is, if she responded to her birthright and to all that Jobi had tried to teach her. By the time they had to leave, Jobi had almost given up hope that his teaching had reached the child. He'd seen nothing about her that wasn't like every other earthling. But when he entered their house on that last day, he heard little Kaley crying. Jeff was holding her, looking frustrated and helpless. "She's been fed and changed. I don't know what else to do." To Jobi's great joy, he could hear her, feel what her problem was. "She misses the dog," he said. Jeff opened the door, the dog entered, and instantly, Kaley stopped crying. Jobi was so pleased that he turned away to hide his smile. One of the things he'd tried to instill in the unborn baby was a connection with animals. He wasn't clear how it would be needed in the future, but it would be. He was relieved that he'd succeeded in reaching her mind. It was an hour later that he did what he had to do. He put the drops in a cup of water, lifted Gracine from the bed, and she drank it. When it was done, he left the house, leaving her husband to find her. Jobi didn't want to hear Jeff's cries of anguish when he found his wife unresponsive and seemingly dead. When it was over, Jobi returned to take care of it all, meaning that he'd taken Gracine away and lied about what had happened. He'd encouraged Jeff to stay on his parents' farm and run his auto shop. He strongly suggested homeschooling for the child, as he knew she would be different. Jeff nodded, but Jobi wasn't sure if he'd heard him or not. It had worked out as he'd envisioned, and now Gracine, still sleeping, was on the ship headed toward home, while her grieving family was on Earth. Jobi had told Jeff that Gracine's rich, powerful relatives, whom he'd never met, had taken her body home. In a way, it was true. On the ship, Jobi lied even harder. He told the officers that the Earth child had died. Long ago, there'd been repercussions for leaving behind half-lights, as the children of Bellis and Earthlings were called. Sometimes they had unusual abilities. In the far past, those children had not been treated well. Superstition had caused great turmoil. But now, unusual children stirred the interest of Earthlings. They started asking why and how. Whatever abilities Kaley had, he didn't want them to make people dig deeper to find out more. It was imperative that Earthlings didn't find out too much, as it could cause great distress. Jobi hoped that the chip in her arm would allow him to keep oddities about her under control. As he lied to the officers on the ship, Jobi had to quieten the pounding of his heart. If anyone knew the truth, that the danger from this child was not to Earthlings, but to his world, they would destroy the child. Again, Gracine made a sound. She was waking up, and Jobi was going to have to tell her that her family had been taken from her. She'd believed that she was going to be allowed to stay with them on Earth. Jobi let his breath out slowly. He'd foreseen that something was going to happen on Earth in their future. His vision didn't clearly show what it was, but he knew that it would allow him to spend time alone with Kaley. That was when he'd return to Earth. She'd be a young woman.